Are you a new writer working on perhaps your first book, a memoir, a novel, or any other long fiction? Well, I'm here to tell you something. Don't write giant paragraphs. Welcome to 10,000 Things. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, we've written and published dozens of books over the past 5 years that we started our company. And many people bring us manuscripts either for an evaluation. We have a book in progress evaluation, or they come to us to publish their books, or they need editing, or whatever it is, people bring us their manuscripts. And first, I absolutely commend anybody who took the time, energy, and huge effort to write a book, okay? It's giant. It's a huge life accomplishment. Just want to share something that I see very commonly that you can look out for to make sure if you're doing this, you can fix it before you present it to a literary agent or an editor or try to self-publish. So here's what it is. People write these ginormous paragraphs. You're not going to eat a loaf of bread in one bite. You need to slice it into slices and enjoy it bite by bite. You're not going to eat an apple all at once. You bite it and take small amounts. You don't eat a cluster of grapes all at once. You eat one grape at a time. The same goes for writing sentences that you want someone to read. So here's the deal. If I look at a loaf of bread, I'm like, I need to cut that so I can eat a piece of it. Whereas if I look at this giant paragraph on the screen, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to look at that. It's dense, it's overwhelming. And so what you need to do is break it up. Give me some white space to honor the words. Let them breathe. First of all, it's single spaced. This is an excerpt from my memoir. It's single spaced, which is, first of all, a challenge to the eyes. And then when I'm working, I also like to put, let me see, where can we? Let's move it at least 1.5 apart. See, now it's the words can breathe. I don't love Times New Roman, so I always change it to a more visibly pleasing, voluptuous font like Bookman old style. That's what I like. And so work with it the way you like it. You can even change the color of the font. But the point here and the lesson tonight is that you need to make these sentences stand on their own. So it's like one nugget that someone can savor as they're reading, as opposed to like, bleh. So listen, this is a scene, a vignette called Weekend Adventures in Big Woods when me and my sister Catherine were little with our father. As soon as Daddy pulled his beige Ford 100 truck into the gas station and general store across from Clear Lake, Michigan, we dashed to the payphone to call our mother. Here's something I see all the time that drives me nuts. Do not keep the quote inside buried there. Quotes should have their own line. Like look at the newspaper and take your cue from there. Quotes get their own line. There's someone new talking and we want to give them their space, their platform, okay? So what we do is, and then I'll get to another point where some people don't even make a quote. They're just like, Catherine called her mom and said, hi. No, break up the visual experience, enhance the texture of the writing with quotes, like it's someone else's voice. It adds layers, okay? Boom. Do you see how that, and then put a space there. Do you see how that like opens it up? So the hi mommy from the little girl, excited. Oh, I said excitedly. This is a no-no. I don't like adverbs. So there I caught myself. Catherine and I exclaimed, we're here. We're buying stuff for the woods. Okay. Do not bump quotes. So here the mom talks, our mother. And when a new person is talking, you have a new line for their dialogue. Okay. And so I love you girls. She said, be careful. And then we're getting to a new vision inside the store that needs its own line. So inside the store, Catherine and I helped our father gather essentials for the weekend: hamburger, hot dogs, buns, baked beans, big bags of cheese, popcorn, cheese, chocolate. Then, well, Daddy, okay. Catherine and I glanced along. So, what I'd like to do is break this up because it's a whole new idea. While Daddy and the store owner caught up on news about forest fires and news and stuff, Catherine and I, so the whole deal is they're in the background. This is about us. Catherine and I glanced longingly across the road at the beach and the lake where our cousins lived on an island. Okay, sometimes we boated or skied with them. Okay, here's some dialogue buried in the middle of this giant brick of words. Nope. Daddy, when can we go swimming? We asked during a pause in his conversation. New line, new person talking. Tomorrow, he said. Okay, so then, whole new scene. We're going into the woods now. After that, we accessed our property, dirt road, gate, rumbled further into the woods, camper, campfire. There, that sets the scene. And now let's have a new paragraph talking about what we're going to do. Catherine and I couldn't wait to leap out of the truck and play in the dirt, run around, and go exploring with Daddy. First, we had to unload the truck and settle in the camper, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so then the new idea is dinner. Daddy cooked hot dogs on the campfire, heated up there. And then the next sentence is more also about what we did there. So just, we played cards, we had fun, we ate chocolate and cheese and popcorn. And then I like to set this idea apart. Then laughing fits that Daddy called the giddies made me and Catherine laugh so hard that our stomachs ached. So that's a whole new idea. It's like after the lights out. And then this is super fun. Um, we could hear the birds, the whippoorwills. Like that was the sound that they actually made. So it was super quiet in the middle of the woods, and you hear whippoorwill. So when you do a sound, you italicize it to emphasize that it's a sound. And that's what those birds are called, whippoorwills. Isn't that fun? Okay. So then the next day we hiked up the big hill to the Jiggle Tree, which was a giant tree that had toppled at an angle. Catherine and I climbed it, held on the branches, bounced, and had a great time. And then our father's like, there was a fire here. So that's a whole nother idea. Okay. There's a whole nother idea there. Um, so he talks about the fire and the DNR. And okay, so here there's Daddy talking. Next, my thought belongs in its own paragraph. The thought of a fire blazing around us terrified me. Blah blah blah. Adventure, green moss, lush woods, stream, beautiful. It was amazing, except for the mosquitoes. When we walked, Daddy carried his big shovel like a walking stick, sometimes swatting away a snake that appeared on our path. Okay, then new idea again. Do you see how this is breaking it up and it like invites your eyes to read it? Do you see this white space here? Do you see how tomorrow stands alone and you can just hear our father, how parents say one word and it's like the authority, tomorrow. And then you don't ask any more questions because they have spoken. So do you see how this like white space makes it more visually enticing to actually read, and it's easier to read, it's faster, and you're just going through the story as opposed to bricks of words. So then I tell another story. This is in my book, God's Answer is No, KNOW, Lessons from a Spiritual Life. And so let's see. We love to play in the dirt. Okay, so this continues the story. We were wearing our bathing suits. We thought it would be fun to put dirt and sand in our bathing suits. That was such a fun day. Oh my gosh. So this is a pretty big, potentially big paragraph. So here's what we did, and let's just say what happened. Dirt smudged our arms, legs, and faces. We rolled around in the dirt, laughing hysterically. And it really was one of our happiest childhood memories because we were just wild and free kids in the dirt. It was so fun. Okay, so then our father saw us after the dirt fest, and he's like, "You girls need a bath." So, new quote, new line, new paragraph. So we drove to Clear Lake where we had asked when could we go swimming, and that became our bathtub. We ran in the water, frightening away the minnows. So like, writing all the details this is a whole nother show, but sight, hear, touch, taste, smell, and the intuition of the moment, the gut feeling. These are details like, okay, running into the water, but the minnows, if you've ever gone into a lake and the minnows are like, and you can see them like, all going away from you really fast, that hung out in the shallow water. We splashed ourselves clean in Mother Nature's bathtub. Okay, so then another paragraph, because it's winter now, we're telling a whole different experience. Go from swimming on the beach in the summertime to winter. We warmed, blah, blah, blah. We ice skated by moonlight on the frozen beaver ponds. We had so much fun doing that. Oh my gosh. And they literally were surrounded by beaver dams, and you could see the sticks that had been gnawed by the beaver, like to points. You could see the teeth marks on the stumps of the trees, and then the piles of them that formed our homes. Fascinating. Okay. And then a whole nother idea with winter activity was Daddy and his friends cutting down trees with chainsaws to make firewood that we sold back at home after loading it in our truck. So I took one giant brick of words, that's one story, one vignette from my memoir, and I broke it up into visually enticing um, sentences, paragraphs, separate quotes for each person and paragraph. And it's just much easier and more inviting to read. So if you're a first-time novelist or memoirist and you're writing a story, please do respect the white space and respect the black letters on your page. Give them space, give them breathing room, give them the visual invitation for the reader to be like, oh, I see that. Ooh, the dad walking protectively with the shovel down the dirt road, snakes. Oh my gosh. You know, and then, it's really, really like the pacing when you see something short, when you see something, with more space. It's really like gives you this variety and the texture of the reading experience. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Really, really important, because no reader wants to read a brick. Nobody wants to eat a loaf of bread. They want a slice. Nobody wants a whole cluster of grapes at once. They want one grape at a time to savor. So please do break up your paragraphs, write in smaller pieces so that we can savor every sentence. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and this is 10,000 Things You Need to Know to Write, Publish, and Promote Your Book here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Please also visit our website, twosisterswriting.com, and learn about all the wonderful services that we provide, especially me as a book coach. Big announcement coming soon on that. And also, please do follow us at Two Sisters Writing on Twitter, the number 2 Sisters Writing, and follow me, Elizabeth Atkins, on Twitter. So please drop me a comment if you have any questions. If you have any show topics, big burning questions you have about writing, please do drop me a comment. I'd love to answer your questions on a future show. So again, I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, one of the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I wish you happy writing. I'll see you next time.